is being erased from the beauty world and I need your help to save it. It looks like quite a few brands have teamed up against us. I know there are new and lovely indie brands, or not necessarily indie, that are being launched almost every year, and they make colorful and fun stuff. However, I'm very scared of this tendency that whenever a brand gets bigger and more popular, it kind of loses color, as if there's like some sad beige virus in Sephora counters or something like that. I don't know. Let's try to understand why this happens and address a few brands that have completely lost their color and their spark, I might say, in the past like 5 or 10 years. First and foremost is the iconic Urban Decay, the former iconic Urban Decay, and they have recently started talking about that themselves, so we cannot possibly ignore it. Urban Decay was known as this edgy and alternative and definitely colorful makeup brand. Now, they haven't been focusing just on color. They did always carry some neutral items as well, so a lot of their palettes were color plus neutral eyeshadows, although some, like the famous electric palette, were just super colorful.
Oh my god, the exciting moment. Okay, guys.
They also had something like spicy neutrals, what people call them, so like a very shimmery brown, for example. They appealed mostly to the alternative audience who wanted their makeup to stand out. They were one of the first ones to do blue lipsticks and that kind of stuff. Then they were acquired by L'Oreal. Of course, when they were first acquired by L'Oreal, first of all, L'Oreal didn't want to push away their audience right away, and then also a lot of palettes that have appeared within a few years after L'Oreal bought them were actually designed before that, because it takes a lot of time to design, plan a launch and do all that. But after all this effort was gone, L'Oreal slowly blended the Urban Decay brand into all the other L'Oreal brands. You cannot tell one from the other. Urban Decay has been launching one naked palette after the other, boring browns and beiges, no color. They launched the Naked Ultraviolet palette, which I thought was a change, but apparently there was very little pigment. They tried to revamp the electric palette, but they failed. According to the reviews, that palette was really poor quality, and I think their last palette was that big rainbow one, which I really wanted to get, but I really didn't have the money for that. So I think the last palette I got from them was the electric palette, and then after that I got a few singles, which were also very interesting. I did also get a few lipsticks after that, like the UVB, the Asphyxia, I forgot the name, but the green one. They had so much fun stuff. I think out of all the colorful stuff, they kept their 24/7 eyeliners, which is a smart move because that was definitely a bestseller, but that is it. And they are now posting on their social media that, oh, how has the world gone bland? Everything is bland, and the person talking about it is wearing almost bland makeup. And then also after all that, because we were like, well, you have done that. You have stopped launching palettes like the electric one and started launching the naked palettes. So they said all that and we're like, okay, is Urban Decay coming back? Are they finally giving us color again? And they relaunched another brown palette. Like, you gotta be kidding me. They gotta be trolling us at that point. I do hope that color comes back with them, but that's a very weird move. I will explain as we go to the next brand, which is Fenty Beauty. Launched by Rihanna a few years ago, it came into the makeup world as also this colorful and slightly alternative brand. It was for your everyday glam, but bold. It had a periwinkle lipstick, yeah, dig. It had a black lipstick. It had, like, the Mademoiselle lipsticks came in all colors. And I have the periwinkle one, that's why I mentioned it. I also loved the teal that they had. I didn't get it though. They also had quite a few alternative colors of their liquid lipstick. They had some colorful eyeshadows. They did carry some neutrals as well. However, they were also trying to appeal to a colorful audience. And nowadays, the colorful items that I see in Fenty Beauty are not actually colorful. These are like transparent lip glosses in a blue packaging. Well, maybe the lip gloss itself is also bluish, but since it's pretty much transparent, you cannot see it. It's important to spread the word about this, and if you're finding this video enjoyable, please give it a thumbs up. This way it will spread to more people. Even the Smurf collection, such an iconic opportunity to include a blue lipstick, a bright blue eyeshadow. I'm not saying blue face paint because they never made face paint, but something very bright and bold. They completely missed it. They did some lip glosses and a natural looking highlighter. Well, not natural looking, one of the shades of beige. And I just find it so strange that a brand enters the market appealing to a colorful audience. They gain that audience. And then they're like, oh, you know what? Actually, people who are interested in neutral makeup, this is a bigger audience. So we're just gonna throw our audience away and try to gain a new one from scratch. Okay, but that's kind of common knowledge. If you wanted to make makeup to appeal to bigger audience that likes nude lipsticks and beige eyeshadows, why didn't you start doing it from the start? Or do you think it will be easier for you now that you have an audience, but you have the wrong audience? It's like saying, oh, I have a company that sells cars, so it will be easier for me to sell neutral makeup. Maybe in a way that you know some business processes or you know how to count your taxes, but in the terms of audience, no, that's a completely different audience. It's like you're starting from zero, almost. Speaking of the loss of audience, MAC Cosmetics pretty much completely lost me. And not just because there are nowadays brands that have more affordable prices and just as good of a quality, but also because I'm just not interested in MAC releases anymore, or in almost any of them. I used to be so hyped in the early 2010s, not just in the early, yeah, until like 2020. I used to be so hyped about MAC releases. They were constantly releasing something interesting. They were releasing like those colorful lipsticks. They were releasing colorful eyeshadows. Their Christmas holiday collections, they were always super interesting. And yeah, they did the neutral stuff too, but for example, it was one collection that was more neutral and then the other collection that was more colorful. And nowadays they have discontinued even the colors that they had permanently. They do still carry like a couple of blue and purple lipsticks, but very few. They do carry eyeshadow singles and maybe some colorful eyeliners, but even their Christmas collections are not interesting anymore. They're all bland, as Urban Decay told us. So I hardly can find an item in any of the new MAC launches that kind of excites me. There were a couple that I was like, you know, like if somebody gave me that for free, I would be, oh, okay, thank you. I mean, I would say thank you in any case, but I would really be happy with it. But spending money on it, no, I don't like it that much. Another huge brand that did, well, not actually did, they're kind of balancing on the rope and I want to pull them on outside. That's ColourPop. I'm sorry for the poorly worded sentence. I'm just emotional. By the way, if you know the brands that have done the same thing that I forgot to mention in this video, do let me know. Maybe we will film a part 2 or maybe we'll just discuss it in the comments. So ColourPop used to be, as you could judge from the name, a colorful brand. And they also used to have like tones of differently colored liquid lipsticks and also bullet lipsticks. And they had colorful eyeshadow launches. They are still launching a lot of stuff and some of it is kind of colorful, but they haven't had a colorful lip product, I don't know in how many years, and I'm not counting things like a green gloss because it will be sheer on your lips. You can maybe spot some green sparkle there, but it's gonna be sheer. As I'm filming this, they have just launched their Shrek collection. Not a green lipstick in Shrek collection? What has the world come to? And even the palette, it's mostly browns. Like there are some greens, but it's mostly browns. This is just such a great opportunity to do something edgy. I mean, it's a limited edition collection. Why are you so afraid to take risks and make something more colorful? You won't really have to restock it. You can just like quietly and slowly sell it out. And I don't think that's taking risks because you had a colorful audience in the first place. You're kind of trying to speak to it. And I was debating with myself on whether or not to include NYX Cosmetics in this list, but their NYX Wednesday collection pushed me over the edge and they are making it to this list. Now, why I was debating is that NYX did make some colorful things. As of recently, they do have a lot of colorful eyeliners, they have some colorful eyeshadows, they have been launching colorful palettes. They did make this pepper collection of lipsticks, lip liners, and Epic Wear liner sticks for the eyes. And I did get myself some things, unfortunately not the lipsticks because I hate the Shine Loud formula, but let's give them credit. They did the periwinkle, like the cool purple color, and also the emerald color, aside from the more traditional like oranges, reds, and browns. Sometimes the holiday collections are interesting. They have also launched those lip creams, which come not just in nude and neutral colors, but and in reds, but also in blue, in teal, and vibrant pink. So they do have some stuff, but they kind of lean into this neutral thing, into this, you know, clean girl makeup trend or whatever. And NYX, please don't do that. I know you make some makeup for neutral lovers, but please do not ditch us color lovers, because that's a big part of your audience. From what I see in the comments and from the people that I have talked to, I know that that's a huge part of your audience. People who love color, but making 3 lip oils and not a single black lipstick, or at least a pigmented opaque lip gloss for Wednesday collection, that's wild. Making a palette for Wednesday collection that is basically all brown with 1 purple eyeshadow, I have no words. I don't even know what to say. Like, why did you do that? I do understand that having neutral makeup can be important, but I'm very worried about this tendency. And honestly, I'm even looking at the brands that I love that are making colorful makeup, and I'm like, what if they become more popular? Because we love those brands, so they do have the opportunity to become more popular, and they stop making colorful makeup for us. So I just feel betrayed. You know, as a colorful makeup lover, I'm constantly finding a new makeup brand and I'm like, oh, I love it. I fall in love with it and I proclaim my love for it. And then they dump me and stop making neutral makeup. Then I go to another brand and that one breaks my heart. So let's bring the color and the fun back in makeup. Let's normalize it. Let's buy the colorful items that the brands make and let them know in this way that we prefer color over neutrals. Of course, I'm not saying you must buy anything, just if you have the opportunity and if you will really be using this item. But if so, I do hope that we'll let them know and that we can pull them back on our side. And if you want to know more about some makeup controversies, here's a playlist exactly for you, and I will meet you there. Bye.